Hi there, my name is Marley and welcome to my new reading blog. So this week I'm going to be reading romance novels and doing a little romance reading blog in honor of Valentine's Day. If everything goes as planned, I'll be uploading this video on Valentine's Day. So this is the week leading up to it. I did this kind of video last year where I read 3 romances for Valentine's Day. So I feel like it's kind of a nice little tradition. So I'll just introduce you to the 3 books that I plan on reading. The first one is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is the sequel to It Ends With Us, which is a really popular book by her, so she decided to come out with a sequel to kind of show what happened after that book. It's definitely been getting mixed reviews from what I've been seeing. People have not been loving it, but I still want to give it a go. I read all of Colleen Hoover's books and I normally enjoy them. It Ends With Us was one that I read back in 2019, so it's been a while, and I have actually started this one already. I have actually read a few chapters. Basically, if you don't know, it follows Lily, and she is this girl and we're kind of seeing her whole life in the first book, the man that she falls in love with in current day, and we also see flashbacks to her first love that she had in high school. And among all that, it also focuses on domestic violence. Most people discuss now, I think it's good to know that going in just in case you have any triggers. So this second book is after that, once Lily has gotten out of that abusive relationship and we're seeing her relationship with a more healthy man. A better man. Maybe I'll just give my thoughts on that. My initial thoughts is that the scenes with Ryle, so I will say maybe it'll be like a little bit spoilery for this book because it's a sequel, but I'll just say I was definitely on edge in the first couple chapters seeing Lily with Ryle. It was making really uncomfortable, just really on edge of what is he gonna do. Her scenes that she's had with Atlas have been really cute, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more from them. The other book I want to read is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is one of the romance books I've heard the most positive things of in the last year. A lot of people that I trust their romance tastes, a lot of people liked this book, and all I know is about these 2 people who are from really different walks of life. One person lives in the city, one lives in the country, and I think they get into some sort of fake dating relationship or something like that. The third one is Shipwrecked by Olivia Dade. This is another sequel. This is actually the 3rd book in the spoiler alert trilogy or companion series. I believe this one is actually following 2 actors this time that were involved in this Game of Thrones-esque show, and that's really all I know about that one. So let's get into the vlog. Let's see how I feel. I honestly don't feel super confident about these books that I chose, but 2 of them were books I just needed to get through to finish a series, and Part of Your World is the one I'm the most excited about. Okay, I'm 35% of the way in, and this book is already a lot. Like I kind of mentioned in the intro, we're still having cute scenes between Lily and Atlas. They went on their first date. We're reflecting on their past a lot, and I just do find their chemistry very cute, and I'm really looking forward to more. But we're also still exploring that past abusive relationship that Lily had with Ryle, and I mean, I can't even say past, like he is still very present in her life as they are co-parenting, and it's just such a complicated relationship and situation. And I see why people wouldn't like this because it's not a black and white situation, and a lot of people feel very black and white about things. I'm someone who like can see both sides in situations a lot. I'm a Libra, so like very diplomatic, but yeah, it's a tough situation where Lily is having to keep seeing her abusive ex-husband, and he keeps being really toxic and manipulative and gaslighting her in their conversations, and it's really upsetting to read. So I see why people who wanted this to be like a fluffy fun romance between Lily and Atlas, I see why they would be disappointed with that, because we're having some of those scenes, but at the end of the day, this is still a Colleen Hoover book, and there's still like a lot of angst and like upsetting things going on in terms of Ryle. Like when he found out that their daughter's middle name is Dory. First of all, kind of funny that she named her daughter after Dory, but he didn't realize that like the name meant something to her and Atlas, so he's all pissed that like their daughter's name had like a reference to Atlas, and he's just being like so evil, and it's like really scary, especially knowing that like he's gonna be around her daughter sometimes by himself, and I feel like that would just be such a scary situation. And it's very like, ooh, like it's a very questionable situation, because if he's capable of hurting Lily physically, it's like, what else is he capable of? Even like his sister and his best friend, they still, you know, interact with him, and it's like that would be so hard to stay friendly with someone who you know is like abusive. Like, it's a very weird situation, but that's kind of what Colleen Hoover does, is like she puts these really gray area situations in her book sometimes. So I make some interesting, but yeah, I'm definitely very uncomfortable, and I'm wondering how it's gonna end, because I wish that Lily could just never see Raoul again. Like, I really wish that he could just be out of her life for good, because it's so not fair that she keeps having to relive this stuff with him, and he's still being so, like, emotionally abusive to her, to be honest. Like, she's afraid to do anything that will upset him. She's afraid to move on and date because of how he'll react. Like, so this book is very much still very heavy, like it ends with us, but it's definitely making me feel a lot of things, which is what you want out of literature. I just really hope by the end, like, there's a clear change that happens with Raoul, like he actually is going to therapy or something, because I don't even think he's going to therapy or working on things or anything right now. Like, something needs to change, because this is just really, it's really messed up. So I need Raoul to go to jail. I really just need him to go to jail. Like, honestly. Like, it's continuing. So, like, I did not expect the scariness of Raoul to be continuing so much in this book. Like, something needs to be done. Because Lily and Emmy, like, Emmy's so sweet. I love the little relationship between Emmy and Lily. It's so cute. And then there's stuff going on with Atlas. I don't think I said, but Colleen added like more of a plot line for him. I'm guessing so that like his only story wasn't just loving Lily, but he has like other stuff going on. I'm just so proud of both of them, like getting out of their abusive situations. Well, Lily like almost. She's almost out. But Atlas too has a history of like a parent being abusive to him, and he's gone on to be like a successful business owner. Same with Lily, a successful business owner. They found each other now. Like, I'm just so happy for them. That Ryle is just, it's so bad. Also, the book's giving major reminders of him vibes. There's some like child custody stuff going on. I feel like Colleen was still in like her reminders of him kick with dealing with child custody. So I don't love that, just because I did read reminders of him, you know, in the last year. I liked it, but I don't know. I guess I am still proud of Atlas though, and with what's going on with that situation. Hey guys, here I am. I'm gonna eat soon, but I took my insulin, so now I'm just waiting a little bit for the insulin to kick in. It's called pre-bolusing, where you take your insulin like half an hour before you eat, so just waiting for that. But anyways, finished It Starts With Us today. I actually went into the office today, so I was reading on my commute, and unfortunately had a longer commute home than planned. It actually took me double the amount of time to get home because of all the issues with the subway. Twice we were told that there was no more service on the subway. I had to get off, go out to the street. They said shuttle buses were coming. They never came. Eventually the subway started working again, so we got back on. That happened twice. So many people just standing around waiting. Very annoying. But I did end up finishing the book during that, and it was kind of like a little bit of a throwback, because I originally read all of Colleen Hoover's books while commuting. When I first got my full-time job in 2019, before COVID, I was commuting every day, and I literally just binged all her book while on the subway. So a little bit of a throwback there, reading her book on the subway again. Overall, I did like this book. It felt pretty short though, and I always kind of struggle with rating books that I feel are super short. So I think I would give it like a 3.5, because I did like it, but it also wasn't really anything special. As much as I liked the Lily and Atlas moments, I like seeing their story after and how they end up together. I feel like a lot of it was super cheesy for me. Super cheese. There were a lot of letters, like Atlas writing her letters in this one, and I just felt like it was a lot of very cheesy writing of just like how much he loves her, how much they love each other and all this, and it's like, okay, like that's not really my thing. Just read pages and pages of that. There's like wedding vows at the end. Not really a spoiler, I feel like it's kind of obvious, but it was just a lot of mush. Obviously the Ryle stuff, I did get some of what I wanted from that storyline. I think some progress was made in that area. Still was upsetting to see that stuff throughout the story. As I think I mentioned in my last update, Atlas was given more of a storyline, and I did actually quite like his stuff. By the end, I was like, okay, this is pretty sweet. But yeah, just a lot of trigger warnings, obviously, for abuse, whether it's from your spouse or parent, stuff like that. And this book is really just for people who read the first book and just want a little bit more from it. Obviously, only recommend it for people who enjoyed the first book. So yeah, I'm done with this one. Gonna move on to Part of Your World. Hopefully tonight I will get the motivation to finish it, to start it, sorry. I just need to take some time to like decompress after like the stressful, draining day, but hopefully I can get into that and it will be a lovely time. Hey guys, so I kind of messed up and I have not gotten very far into Part of Your World, so I'm a little concerned about this vlog and like when I wanted it to be up. But yesterday I just got so caught up in Notion. So Notion is like a website or app or whatever for like organization and stuff like that. I've heard some people talk about it for a while but never really looked into it, and then a coworker of mine suggested using it at work, so I've been using it with her. You can like share documents and stuff like that on it, so we've been using that for work, and she was kind of showing me how to make it all pretty and organized and add pages and stuff, and I was like, I kind of love this. And then I saw more people talking about how they use it to track their reading and to stay organized with their booktube stuff and scheduling videos, and I was like, should I transfer all of my booktube planning stuff onto Notion? Because I was using Google Docs, Google Sheets. I really liked using that, but I'm like, I think it could be a lot better on Notion and just like all in one thing together. So that's what I did yesterday. I literally just transferred everything over there. Spent way too much time on that, so I didn't read that much. I'm at like 16% of the way through the book. I don't know if I should show you a bit of my Notion. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that. I'm still new to using it, but maybe one day I can talk about how I use it and how I've set it up. But I did read a little bit of the book yesterday, and I am really liking it. So that's a good thing. I think as long as I get the time to read it, I'll get through it pretty quick and enjoy it. But I didn't realize how similar it was to It Starts With Us, because I really didn't remember a lot of the plot of this book. But our two main characters are Alexis and Daniel, and as I said, they are from two different worlds. Alexis lives in the city and she's a very like successful surgeon or doctor. She works at a hospital. And then Daniel lives in this really small town, and he's actually like the mayor of the town. But they meet when her car goes into a ditch one night when she's just driving through the town, and he helps tow her out. They kind of have a little chat together, and they end up going home together and like having a one-night stand, which is off page. We don't actually see it, which was an interesting choice, but now it's kind of funny because we're just hearing about it. And of course it was really, really good, but she ended up leaving in the middle of the night, so they kind of have to like reconnect. The reason it's similar to It Starts With Us is because Alexis was in seemingly an abusive relationship. We need to hear more about it. It seemed like it was mostly emotionally abusive. So I'm reading about getting out of an abusive relationship again, because she still is in the early stages of getting out of it. She's still having to see him a lot because they work at the same hospital and they own a house together, so they're gonna have to deal with that. I didn't realize how similar the themes were, and then the fact that he's also like a doctor or surgeon, which is what Ryle was in It Starts With Us as well. Kind of weird. And then Daniel is giving honestly kind of Atlas vibes in that they're just like the perfect man. Like Atlas was so perfect in terms of his looks, and then also him being successful and responsible and a really kind man. Daniel's giving those same vibes. I like him so far, but he seems like he's perfect. Like I was getting intimidated. I was like, if I met this man, I would be very intimidated because he seems to have no flaws. But I assume as the book goes on, we'll see some flaws. He, as I said, is mayor of the town. He literally just helps everyone out. He's watching this baby goat for his friend, which I love baby goats. So there's a lot of jokes about how he has this baby goat. It's pretty funny. It is a little bit cringe, but I feel like that's fun. Like it's giving major rom-com vibes, a lot more lighthearted than the previous book. Sorry for those sirens if you can hear that. So I am really looking forward to reading more of this. We also have a redheaded main character. Love to see that. There keeps being a lot of little references, I think, to Disney. Not in a very obvious way, but it's called Part of Your World, which, you know, is like the Little Mermaid. She has red hair, kind of like Little Mermaid, I guess. Also, when she was running away from Daniel, her one shoe got stuck in like a pile of poo from one of the animals he was watching. So then it's kind of like Cinderella, where one of her shoes was left at his place. So that's kind of fun as well. I look forward to noticing any other kind of like Disney fairy tale stuff in here. Yeah, I'll hopefully check back in again soon, but I am working both my jobs today, so very busy. Hello, I am officially halfway through Part of Your World. I did speak a little too soon about loving it. I'm still really liking it, but here's the thing. It has a male point of view. So it's dual POV. So we see Alexis, we see Daniel. You guys might know this, but I do not like when romances have the male point of view. I want it exclusively the girl if it's a straight romance. So I don't love that. Like, I think what it is when I read a romance, I want there to be a little bit of mystery surrounding the love interest, right? So when they do something romantic, whatever, it's like, oh my god, they admitted their feelings, or they did this. But when we're hearing from their point of view, we know that they're gushing about the girl back. Like, Daniel is thinking constantly about how he loves her, or maybe not love yet, but how much he adores her and all this. So it's like, there's no mystery there, you know? I do really wish this was only from Alexis's point of view. The other thing I'm getting a little worried about, I think the Love Light Farms book kind of scarred me, because that book, one of my biggest complaints was it felt like they were setting up all the other romances in the other companion novels. And this one, every time they talk about one of the side characters, I'm like, are they trying to set up the next book? Because every romance now is like a companion series, and it kind of annoys me. So I'm like, are these gonna be just characters that are gonna have their own book, or is there a storyline going to be wrapped up in this one? So we'll have to stay tuned on that one. And then there's things that are frustrating me, but they're like part of the story. And that's both Alexis and Daniel's parents. They are terrible. Like, they're so bad to the point where it is a little bit ridiculous. Like, I think it's a bit unrealistic the way they behave. I mean, there's bad parents out there, but I'm just like, these people are making me so angry. Especially Alexis's dad recently. Like, he was being so rude to her. It's just really frustrating, and I literally want her to leave them in the dust and move to Daniel's small town with him. I don't know if I mentioned, like, well, I said that she was like a doctor, but she's also rich and comes from like a rich family, like white collar, and then Daniel's from a blue collar family. He's kind of having some money issues right now, so that's another difference between them. But I'm like, can they just get married and like she can help him with all the financial stuff? I think that is the comforting thing about romance. It's like they have all these struggles right now, but you're like, I know it's gonna work out in the end. So it's very comforting because of that. Yeah, I think I am liking it as much as I can, considering there's a male point of view, but I'm just feeling like it can't be a perfect book for me because of that. All right, I finished Part of Your World, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I did actually really like it. I know I was complaining a little in the last update, I think, but I really did enjoy this book. It was starting to drag maybe a little bit. There's definitely a lot of angst. Oh, my cat is running around crazy. There definitely is a lot of angst, and I was kind of reaching a point where I'm like, okay, like, can you just figure it out already? But obviously they did, and it was a really sweet ending. What I wanted to happen happened, of course. But I knew it. I knew they were setting it up for companion series, because at the end it says Bree's story is coming this year. But you know what? I actually loved Bree. That's Alexis's best friend. So I think I will pick that up whenever it comes out. But I knew it. I knew it was going to be a companion series. They always are. I don't know if I mentioned in any of my previous updates that it was an age gap. I might have, but in case I didn't, this is an age gap. Obviously at the beginning, I thought it was a fake dating trope. It's not. It's more of like a friends with benefits trope. But overall, really fun. Actually, one of the funniest parts, it was normally Bree, Alexis's, why can't I say Alexis's best friend. She was the funniest part, so probably her book will be pretty good. But I just really need the next book to not deal with domestic abuse. It's just been a lot these last couple books. It's been pretty dark. So I don't think Shipwrecked we'll have that, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I still have, you know, the rest of the weekend, so hopefully I will get started on Shipwrecked. We'll see if I can finish it in the next couple of days. But yeah, this is definitely a good romance. Hey, so I am like 35% of the way through Shipwrecked, so thought I would update since I updated early for the other 2 books in this vlog. So basically I am not liking this. I am not liking it. And I'm not shocked because I felt very meh about, spoiler alert, I did like all the feels, but I have seen people say this is their least favorite in the series. So if I felt meh about the rest, it makes sense I would actively dislike this one. It's a little bit different from the other 2 because we're following 2 actors from this Gods at the Gate series, which is like the book's version of Game of Thrones. We've always only followed 1 actor from the show who has historically been like a really hot guy and then a plus-sized woman as the love interest for them. This book, actually both characters are plus-sized, but they are both actors in the show. The very first chapter was not a great start for me. The first chapter is these 2 characters, Peter and Maria, hooking up. They came across each other and decided to kind of hook up, have this sort of one-night stand situation. I do not enjoy smut scenes that much, especially if they are too early in a book. I prefer for them to be, you know, later on when the relationship has developed more. So for it to be the very first, I keep wanting to say episode, very first chapter, ooh, I was immediately put off by that. I know in Part of Your World, it started with a one-night stand, but that was off page, and I think I would prefer that kind of situation. This is definitely a trope, right? Where they have a one-night stand and then end up developing a relationship, but I haven't personally read that many romance books with this premise, and I think I don't really love that too much because I really just prefer for there to be this build up and anticipation before there is this intimacy. Anyways, so they have this moment together and then Maria leaves the next day. Peter is hurt by that she kind of left without saying bye, and then they bump into each other at an audition for this show. It's very awkward, obviously. They end up having to audition together as they're auditioning for romantic leads. Of course, because of kind of the tension that they have with each other, they do both end up getting the part. So now they are stuck filming this TV show together with a lot of like awkward feelings between them. Kind of fun premise, right? But Peter is very much the grumpy trope kind of character, but in a way that is just too much because there's this conversation right at the beginning when they first get the roles where he is so mean to Maria. He is so rude. And I like enemies to lovers. I like them kind of butting heads at the beginning, right? But this borderline on like bully romance, which I don't like. He was just being so mean to her. I'm like, how is this going to progress? Like, how could she like him? And I do like Maria. I do like her character. Then we hear more about Peter. We learn more about him and find out he has a lot of like social anxiety, social awkwardness, which I like that in a character because I relate to that. But it was like, bro, that's not an excuse to literally be super rude to her. So that was a really weird thing, and it's hard for me to like root for them after that. But anyway, so we see them like filming on location in this kind of like isolated island, of course with the crew and stuff as well. And then it's sweet because, I don't want to spoil everything, but like Maria is a very outgoing, lovely person, to be honest, and she actively like tries to include Peter in conversations because she, I think, notices his social anxiety, which is so nice of her. It's like, and I see why Peter would like Maria because he's like, oh, she's, you know, being nice to me, blah, blah, blah. I still don't know why Maria would like Peter. I really don't. Mostly what she talks about is liking him physically, but I don't get why she would actually like him more than that. I am only 30% of the way through the book, but like, I feel like I've read so much because we just had a 6-year time jump. I'm just gonna say, we've had a 6-year time jump, so it's like these people have known each other like over 6 years now, which also is a little bit jarring for the book. Basically, we've seen them when they started filming the show, and now we've kind of jumped ahead to the end of the show, so I guess the rest of the book's gonna be post-show. But they basically have decided to, you know, not be together due to like the filming of the show, just to not like complicate things. They have feelings for each other. Again, don't know why she likes him, but she thinks he's hot. And that's something I do like, is both of them being fat, because Olivia Dade's good at having fat rep in her books, and now actually both of them are fat rather than just the one. And I like that because in, you know, the other 2 books I read for this vlog, Atlas and Daniel were both described as like these perfect men that basically look like gods, that have like 0 fat on their body, like all this. And I don't love that. So I kind of like that Peter is described differently, and he's still described as very hot, especially to Maria, but not in a way where it's like he has 0 flaws. Like he still is like a thicker guy and stuff like that. And I just prefer that, because you can still be hot, and like the love interest in the romance can still be really attracted to them, even if they don't look like a literal model or Greek god or something. So that is something I like, and they're definitely touching a lot on like fat phobia in the television and like film industry and Hollywood. So that's obviously like an important thing to talk about. But I'm overall not loving this. And the writing, I do not like the writing. It can be very confusing sometimes and very, very cringy. They have some, she's including some excerpts from like the group chat for all the cast members, which she's done in the other 2 books, but I don't remember it being this cringy before. Like it's so hard to read. It's so cringy how they're like trying to make these characters be funny, and it's just like weird. Another thing I found confusing, and I saw some people's, I was looking at reviews as well, like negative reviews, and other people were confused too, because while they're filming the show, the way she writes their scenes when they're acting is kind of weird. In this one scene, they're literally like building a house, like their characters are building a house or something, like doing physical work on this island, but then the actors are actually having to do the physical work. And I saw this review that's like, the actors don't actually have to like do the stuff that their characters are doing. And it's very weird like that, where I'm like, the actors would not actually do this like physical work. It's just because their characters were doing it. Like, it's very weird how she's describing the set and the filming. It's like not accurate at all. And in the other books, we were able to, I guess, not see that because it was an actor with like a fan, so they were never on set. But now seeing them on set, it's like, this is not how this works. This is not how filming works. There's just a lot of bad stuff in this book, honestly. Sorry, I'm kind of ranting. I think I'm still gonna finish it. Like, it's not so bad that I can't finish it, at least I don't think, but I don't know if I'm gonna be rushing through and like if I'll finish it by the time I wanted to film this vlog. But yeah, it's not going good. Oh my gosh, look what my boyfriend got me for Valentine's Day. He knows me. Thanks for swiping right. Aw, because we met on Tinder. Alright, I'm only about halfway through Shipwrecked, but it is Valentine's Day, which is the day I wanted to upload this vlog. So I'm gonna put an end to the vlog here. Honestly, the book is getting a little bit better. This last section has been easier to read. I've been enjoying the chemistry between our 2 characters. We're also seeing them go on like a press junket to promote the season, which is kind of fun. So I will say it's getting a bit better, but you'll have to just subscribe and stay tuned for my wrap up at the end of the month to see my final review of this book, my final rating and all that stuff, because I was not able to finish it in time. If it was a better book, maybe I would have finished it, but just couldn't do it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great Valentine's Day and great rest of your month. Definitely leave me a comment to let me know any of your thoughts. If you have any romance recs for me, let me know. And yeah, I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.